In this video, I get to show you one of my favorite blueprints, the Lambda Function CloudFormation blueprint. This blueprint provisions a Lambda function and a CloudWatch event rule. So it pretty much provides you an example with the code structure necessary, and then you can add on your own code, okay? It's pretty much like a boilerplate example. It includes an example of a Lambda layer, and also all the necessary Lambda permissions, IAM rows. It takes some time to figure those out, so it's helpful to get that all out of the way so you can focus on your business logic. It optionally supports VpcConfig, so let's say you need to run this Lambda function internally to your network because it's calling internal network or internal resources, then it's supported. It also supports X-ray tracing, and you could customize the schedule event or the schedule expression that belongs to the CloudWatch event rule or the event pattern, okay? You can use only one of either. It's just that's the way this template was designed. If you use both, then the event patterns take higher precedence, okay? To use this, all you do is add the blueprint to your gem file, configure some values, and deploy. Here's the line that you add to your gem file. Here are the load-C commands that will generate the starter configuration variable files. There are only variable files in this one. And then here are the deploy commands, okay? Here are some more configuration details, including one important note. The Lambda runtime can be customizable with a variable. The default is Ruby 2.7. I do recommend actually just leaving with Ruby because Lono actually can automatically build your Lambda layers for you. And that's what we're going to kind of do in this video. We're going to see that all happen. But if you do change it to another runtime, then you actually have to change the function code because the function code in this example is Ruby. Okay, and what else? If you do change also the Ruby version 2.7 to 2.5 for whatever reason, then you have to also make sure that the version of Ruby you're running matches with what the runtime is, because Lono actually uses your current version of Ruby to build the Lambda layer automatically. And if they don't match, then it's not going to work. So you want to make sure that those match, okay? Here's some notes about the schedule expression. You could change it. The default only runs once a day, but you could change to 1 minute, which we're going to do in this video to kind of just demonstrate. If you can also use event patterns here. Event patterns are pretty cool. Essentially, here are the docs. Pretty much everything in AWS, when there's an event, let's go find it right here, events supported from AWS. Pretty much everything that happens within your AWS account is going to trigger a CloudWatch event. So this is why they sometimes call it the central nervous system of AWS. That's what they call AWS CloudWatch events. Like all these things, you can kind of have it trigger the Lambda function. So that's pretty cool. Here's some notes about how you configure the Lambda function to VPC. To configure the VPC, essentially you have to set subnet IDs. If you set that, then you have to either set VPC ID or security group IDs. The reason that is you can either set VPC ID if you want the template to create a security group and manage it for you, or you can go ahead and create your own pre-existing security groups and pass it to the Lambda function, and the Lambda functions can use that security group ID instead. So it all manages that for you. I should note, if you're going to run your Lambda function in VPC, it takes a lot longer to deploy. It doesn't take 30 to 40 minutes to deploy initially. It's actually going to be pretty quick initially. It's actually only if you need to delete the Lambda function or you change a property in the Lambda function that requires replacement, then that's when it's going to take 30 to 40 minutes. And the reason this is because in order for Lambda to support the VPC feature, it provisions the ENI network card and attaches that ENI network card to the Lambda function. Whenever we are deleting Lambda functions or replacing Lambda functions, because we change a property that requires replacement, Lambda is going to delete that ENI, sorry, I didn't say ENI network card, and it takes about 30 to 40 minutes for that to detach. Hopefully they work on speed improvements, but that's just how it is when you're using Lambda within VPC. And you know, there are good reasons to putting your Lambda function in VPC. X-ray tracing is also supported, and there's some notes down there. So I covered the README pretty thoroughly there. So let's jump into the demo now. So let's go ahead and grab this, go to our project, go to the gem file. You can always throw it down here. You can leave it as such, or you can go ahead and use this kind of nice helper method that I wrote up above there. That is the same thing. once you add that to your gem file, you just run bundle, and that's going to make it available. Then you go lono seed lambda to generate these configuration files. And the configuration file is just one variable file, and it's right here. You can see pretty much tells you what you can configure and everything here. Oh, that's kind of weird. Let's refresh this. File 9 is acting funny. Okay, then you can go down here. And you can see that there's other things you configure here. Like, for example, what we're going to do is we're going to change the default rate to 1 minute. That way we can actually see it being triggered and not have to wait a whole day. So lono see event deploy lambda. Use the sure flag there. So that is ready to deploy now. We're not going to use VPC, which is for demo and everything. So there, the stack is creating progress. Let's go just check on the counter real briefly. Refresh here, you see it creating progress. So starting to create everything. It's creating the execution row, the layer actually right there, the Lambda version layer. And it's going to take a couple minutes to create everything. So I'm going to pause so y'all don't have to wait. Okay, so the stack has finished creating. It took about 2 minutes or so. You can see it down here, 1650 and 1652. Let's click on check out all the resources. So this created a couple of resources: the Lambda layer, the permission, the IMA execution row. So this is what you this is how you give the Lambda permission, the Lambda function permission to talk to other AWS resources, like for example S3. Here's the Lambda function, and here's the schedule the AWS events rule. So let's take a look at the Lambda function code real quick. This is just example code, right? It just basically requires dependencies in Ruby here. And then here's the Lambda handler, and it just prints out the event. Down here, this snippet code, what it does is just allows you to test it locally if you would just want to call the Ruby method directly, and then it's going to actually fire it kind of directly, okay? But all we're expecting is basically to put event here, okay? Let's go back to CloudFormation and look at the CloudWatch events rule here. When we click on that, you can see here's the event rule. It's running every 1 minute. That's the thing we override it with the variable. And then here is the target Lambda function. Now, this is a really cool thing. See this link right here, metrics for rule. If you click on that, it's going to take you to CloudWatch and show you a graph. You can show this. You see these little dots. These little dots kind of show up whenever the Lambda function fires. Now, one tricky thing is sometimes these dots, everything's asynchronous in the system, so sometimes these dots show up later, okay? Just I want to point that out. You don't actually have to wait for these dots to see the Lambda function are firing sometimes, okay? The whole system's asynchronous, kind of. But since this dot is fired already, we know the Lambda function has already fired, so we should be able to see the logs. So you click on monitoring here, you're going to see view logs in CloudWatch. You can search log group right here and just do every last 30 seconds, and you can see, look, it fired right there. And you click on event, and you can see this is actually the event payload that comes from the schedule event, the scheduler essentially. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Let's see what else I want to show you. Maybe I'll show you one more cool thing. It's nice to sometimes tail the logs via the CLI. So I'm going to show you one bonus thing right here. Maybe that's logs tail and then the group name. And this is another tool I wrote that will actually tail the logs in a live stream. So we wait like a minute here, or like here. We're going to see this fire again in under a minute here. So let's check this out. And while we wait for that, actually I should show you the tool. So the tool for that one is the repo labels logs. Okay. So that's another tool that will tail the logs and has a lot of features. The new AWS CLI tool also has it. Has a way to tail logs, but this one I actually have a couple more features added to it. But look, you see it right there, telling log. So every single minute we kind of see here. Here's my marker to designate, and here is the Lambda logs that fire. I think that covers it. That covers this Lambda function CloudFormation blueprint, and it provides a nice example, removes all the boilerplate that you have to write. So all you can have to do is kind of plug in your business logic there, and then kind of move on. So hopefully you found this video helpful. Cheers.